This meeting is being recorded.
How much of Boston's three-point success today was due to their excellence in shot making, and how much of it was due to defensive miscue?
It was a lot of both. We know they're a high volume, high efficiency three-point shooting team. You turn the ball over, it fuels their break. They were able to get out. Got some easy ones in transition. It also led to a lot of the points in the paint. The one-on-one, Tatum and Brown combined for 4 of them. So those two guys were not the issue from 3. Neesmith hit a few late, Grant Williams, Pritchard. Those guys would play with a level of comfort that, we talked about taking, away from Tatum and Brown. So, across the board, you could say early start, this, that, and the other. It was an early start for them, and they were ready to go. We just didn't have the same level of intensity or focus from the beginning. Obviously able to make it a ball game in the first half, solid second quarter, cut the deficit to 11, then 9-0 run to start the third, and now you're just sledding uphill. So a lot of it's preventable, but there are a lot of areas we got outperformed in.
Were those kind of preventable things at the start of the third? Did they come out doing something, or did the Celtics come out kind of doing something different?
No, it was just a lot of the similar things. Once again, the turnovers, crushed us. Every time we turned over, they scored. I think 10 turnovers, 21 points. So those plays and broken possessions, and we knew from the beginning their defensive intensity was going to be an issue. Their switching potentially was an issue, and they beat us up. So it's one of those things that we weren't ready to mix it up with the style of play that we were about to see this afternoon.
How much of that was an elite defense putting you where they wanted you to go, and how much of that was your offense settling for?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, and that's the fear with the switching is that's what they force you into. They're number one at opponent assists per game for a reason. They're going to make you play one-on-one, which if you can't go by, your individual matchup, it's going to lend to some of that. So you're mindful of that, and you can't fall into it. Finding that X action, keeping energy of the ball is part of, why we've had success, and the switching and their level of physicality took us out of it. Just that, we didn't come with the same mindset. We weren't ready to play. We're not going to let it linger. We have to learn from it. And obviously, we've got to be better. But, you have a handful of games left. We're not letting go of the rope and saying, all right, well, so be it. We still want to make sure we're getting something out of these last few games because it's an important step for us, important step for our guys. And we can't change our approach regardless of what the situation is or who's on the floor. We got to come out and be ready to play.
Every lesson matters, win or lose or win. But kind of counterintuitively, is a game like this a valuable lesson for younger guys?
It's a valuable lesson for all of us. I mean, sure, you can take a lot from it. They're playing at an elite level for a reason. And yes, they have dynamic offensive players who kind of come on their back and they're playing at a high level. But defensively, they don't take possessions off. They don't have miscommunications or lapses. If they do, they're minimal. So we can grow in those areas and see, hey, teams take us out of what we try to do. We can learn from that. Let's be more aggressive. Let's not let teams play with a level of comfort and make them work, out execute us.
All right, we'll go to Chase.
Wes, scoreless game for Rui Hachimura. What contributed to an off day for him?
A number of things. I think the switching bothered him a bit. He didn't seem to have the same level of pop or energy for whatever reason. But he wasn't alone in that. I thought several of our guys didn't have that mindset to start the game. And it's tough to kind of ease into a game and think you're going to get yourself going against one of the hottest teams in the league. So just having that mindset of hit first mentality on offense and defense, we were playing on our heels quite a bit today.
Neil.
Hey, Coach. For Denny, it seems like he oftentimes gets an unfavorable whistle, I guess, is there anything that he can do to just whatever it is? It seemed like the third foul that he got in the first half, there was very minimal contact. Is there anything that you think that you guys can teach him to do to maybe not put himself in that situation as much?
A lot of it is, the technique. You just got to be real clean with the technique. If we're going to put you on marquee matchups, you're probably under heightened scrutiny every time you defend those guys. So having done it the bulk of the season, you should be aware that you've got to be really clean, and you got to be smart. Don't fall for some of the tricks of the trade. And guys understand the KYP. These certain guys are going to try and get you leaning or get you reaching, get your hands over the ball. And that just really is the next step. Of course, he can be an elite defender. I really believe that. But being able to defend without fouling is crucial.
Thanks, Coach. Safe travels.
Thank you.
All right, Coach, that's it. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Thank
I would say overall problem was just transition and guarding without fouling. We fouled a lot. They got a lot in transition, a lot of open threes. I guess it was their night tonight. I don't feel like they missed a shot from three the way they were shooting tonight.
Did it in the past week that you feel like shots come out of the feeling when games they started well or was it
We started off slow, and again they started off hot. So we knew coming into the game, it was an early game. We needed the energy. Everybody just to stay together. First quarter, we didn't see any of that as far as from our players. But it started to pick up, towards the end of the first and second in the first half. I feel like.
How difficult is it to determine, and maybe it's not even an important point, how much of this was a lack of energy on the Wizards' part and just great shot making on their part?
I feel like in most of the shots that they made, we had great contests. Some of them was tough shots they made. Just feel like they were just knocking them down. This was a big basket out there for them tonight. And I just feel like we didn't, as a team, we didn't pressure them a lot. Wasn't
The
physical.
recording has
I feel like they just dominated the whole game.
You took a lot of more mid-range shots and typically does. How much of that was a product of their switching their defense?
It was a lot. It kind of gave us a little problems where we found ourselves stagnant and not moving the ball. And where we couldn't get a shot or drive to the basket unless it was a long 2 or 3-pointer. They played great defense within the half court and forced us to do things that are outside of our norm.
Chase.
On a related note, they have the number 1 ranked defense in the NBA. What makes them so good on that end of the floor?
I would say they switch 1 through 5, but the aggressiveness that when they do it, it just seems like you have no opening out there, or you got to try to force something. They switch real well. They plug into the gaps. They help a lot. So they help out each other. So they defense is pretty strong.
All right, I think that's it. Appreciate you.
All right, appreciate you.
All right, Ish, you can get started with in-person questions.
It's a game, and as you know, you got to keep everything in perspective. There's some people, Ukraine going through a whole war, so I mean, some things to keep in perspective.
Was it you guys coming out with a little bit of lack of energy, or was it Jalen coming out and hitting the 3 threes early?
Both. When you mix those two concoctions together, you get 144 to 103. Yeah, that part, like that's, they came out, they've been playing the best. I know Robert Williams is down, and I think since he's been down, they've only lost, I think, 1 game, I want to say. That train has continued to move. They playing well, and once he gets back, he's just gonna, chip on in and keep it going. But I tell you this, they've been playing the best out of anybody in the NBA since January 1st. So I think we knew what we had to do, the intensity, but until you go through it, I don't think you really know it. So I think we got hit, and we were just playing catch up the whole game. And I really think for us to look at the score and be down 11 at halftime was very fortunate. But, how you start the third quarter, and they came out, hit us with another 9-0 run. And after that, the house was on fire.
I was going to ask you about the third quarter. Is whatever preventing the reset there, is that you guys looking at the scoreboard and saying, man, so far behind, like what happened coming out of the break?
Yeah, so I'm weird. Like when I look at the score, I count in my head. Like I do, I'm like, all right, we're down 20. Okay, if I get this shot, get him a shot, then get a stop. And like I'm literally playing, I'm doing freaking calculus in my head. Bless you. Where's it literally doing calculus in my head, like, okay. So I never like look at the score. I've been a part of games when we've been down, a lot, came back, and then I've been a part of games where we've been up a lot, came back, and lost that lead. So for me, I just kind of look at, how we can kind of put a dent in it. But I just think they were just in such a great rhythm. We just couldn't slow it down enough. That's what they said.
Your like best splits are best, I guess.
Oh, really? That's what. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know. I just be hooping. You know what? Like I heard somebody say that about Brooklyn. And I heard somebody say something. Yeah, like then I heard somebody else say that. Like I'm like, yeah, eventually you're gonna have to say this undrafted kid from Harrisburg, North Carolina can just play. You've been on a lot of different teams, but the kid can play, and that's a blessing, honestly. Like when you step out on the floor, I thank the Lord every day we get an opportunity to play this game, and I'm very anointed. And so for me, it's an opportunity to go win a game with the team situation, team camaraderie. People don't understand, a lot of guys when they're done playing, that's the first thing that they think about. Like, man, I can be back in the locker room with the guys and different things like that. So for me, anytime I can step on the floor and put my best foot forward, whether it's against Phoenix or whoever else, like I'm gonna try to do my best. And but I would, you just try to contribute to your team.
Piggybacking off that question, how much different player are you now compared to say 5 years ago, 10 years ago?
Compared to last year, man, for real, like I don't know. For me, it's crazy. Like I feel like I'm aging backwards, which is a blessing. Benjamin Button, So, but no, I just play, and like I said, some things you can't kind of explain. You just go out there and play, and allow the Lord to use you, and go out there and put on the best show you can put on. Trying to help your team win. I think a lot of times you don't know what you're doing out there, and when I say that, I mean like you're just playing hard, and then you leave the game, and you're like, and then you get nice compliments, but I take a win plus a compliment all day. I'm more controlled with it. I will tell you that. We were together in Orlando. It's kind of like Fast and Furious with kind of no control. But now it's a little bit more control to it. So, and then it helps when you can make shots. You can be fast as you want to, but if you can't make shots, like people just gonna back up. And so it's helped that you continue to grow and develop, your shooting ability.
First and second year, third year players on your team?
Yeah, this is where you want to be at. That's a great question, Jay. Like, this is where you want to be at. Like last year, we were playing at this moment, playing for something. The intensity when you're going into the playoffs, And then once you get to the playoffs, as you know, you raise it to another level. But this is the time when we're playing all playoff teams leading up, with an exception of New York. But everybody's trying to jockey for position. They're trying to, win some games. And so we, for the young guys, as you know, this is the level they play with. They came out with a certain level, and I'm sure you guys can feel it. They didn't care who they was playing tonight. They could have been playing the number one team, or they could have been playing the last team. It didn't matter. They came out with a level of intensity, a level of focus, because they're trying to play for something bigger. And so when you step in these games, like, the intensity is high, as you know, and it starts after All-Star break. Not saying that the intensity is not high all the way throughout the season, because it is, but then it goes up another level after All-Star break. Then it goes up towards the end of the year, another level. Then when you get in the playoffs, it goes up to another level. And so for us, we're kind of feeling playoff basketball before we actually, without experiencing it. Like I said, last year we went through it. Them games was high intensity. You're trying to get in, and fortunately we got in, and the rest was history. But this is a time.
I will take a couple quick ones from Zoom. Neil.
Hey, Ish, you've been around Denny for a large portion of his NBA career so far. I guess, what are some of the aspects of his game that you've seen him make a jump? Today he had a couple nice lobs to Daniel.
Yeah, you know what, Denny, man, his whole aspect of his game is gone. He's shooting the crap out of the basketball. He's really good at pick and rolls. We put him in situations, and then he can make plays. So he's just continued to grow. And as you know, as a young guy, you get confidence, and his game is growing with each game, with each opportunity. Coach puts him in great opportunities. We try to put him as a point guard. I try to put him in great opportunities for him to be successful. And then it's allowed me to play off the basketball and be a spot-up shooter, or to play off the catch. So, again, his game is growing. He's pushed it in the break a couple times. We got a special player, that's kind of growing, in front of us. And we just have to continue to hone that and lock in. And as you know, as a young person, you can have these lapses, but for the most part, Denny's been really good, and he's been growing.
Thanks, Ish. Safe travels.
Oh, appreciate you. Oh, that's it?
One more Ish.
Okay.
One more from Christos, and that's it.
Hey Ish, hope you're doing well.
Christos, what's up, man?
How are you?
I'm good, man.
Great. Speaking about the next season, where you would like to be next season as a team, and those types of games, what kind of lesson are for you?
Well, I like to be here. So Christos, I got a team option, so if you want to call Tommy and tell him. And it's a lot of lessons, like I said, to be learned in these games during this time down the stretch. I think the biggest thing is like I told Josh, like, it's a level of intensity you have to play with when you're playing in these games. And I think that for us moving forward, down the stretch, these next 4 or 5 games, matching that intensity and then taking that into next season.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you.